Hello everyone, welcome to Urbanscape Gardening. And in this episode, we will be talking about propagating a plant everyone wants in their home, the Bougainvillea. So let's get straight down to business. So the first thing you need to do is to pick the right cutting from an overgrown mother plant. Select stem cuttings that are not too new or soft and choose cuttings that are fairly old and are tough to touch. Ensure this cutting has enough leaves, and the bigger the cutting you take, the more sub-cuttings you get from it. More the cuttings, better the success rate. Always cut at a 45-degree angle so as to increase the surface area of the cutting for water and nutrient absorption and much more. Taking the cutting early in the morning or in the evening is preferred. The flowers of the Bougainvillea most likely won't produce seeds, or I haven't seen seeds from this plant thus far, and are primarily grown from cuttings. The best month to be taking cuttings is when the outside temperature is warm enough, like February to March, and once established, you can enjoy a profusion of Bougainvillea colors during the colder months. Now, from this single cutting, I can get at least 3 more cuttings. Each cutting must have at least 5 leaves. So the cutting must be done just a few inches below the node. If you want, you can scratch the node to expose the cambium layer to help with root development. Remove some excess leaves, and you can also cut the leaves like this to reduce the water loss when the plant is trying to develop roots. Now, a lot of you might get cuttings from your travels, so a quick tip for such gardeners is that always carry a Ziploc bag and cut the cuttings to size so as to fit it into the Ziploc bag. Add the cutting into the bag and spray water or wrap the stem with a wet tissue or cotton and place it in the bag for your long travels. For the propagation, take a small container and don't use big containers for a tiny cutting. The soil in such containers would have more surface area, and drying would take some time, and the cutting would sit in more water. So a small proportionate container would suffice. Ensure this container has drainage holes. Use a very well-draining soil mix of 30% garden soil, 40% compost, 30% sand. You can insert the cutting in the middle or against the side. I prefer the sides since it encourages the roots to grow downwards rather than bush out sideways, thereby resulting in stronger root systems. Now, I'm going to water the plant with some seaweed solution for that initial boost. After this, the cuttings must be kept in a place that gets morning sunlight or in an unobstructed east location. And water the plant again when the soil dries. Keep up this routine, and in a month's time you will have a good root system. And here is a cutting that has grown into a good girthy plant, and it is time to repot this. For the repotting, use a bigger container. I'm using a crock piece to close the hole, and for the potting mix, I'm using repurposed soil that already has garden soil, sand and some compost in it. You can use the same ratios as mentioned earlier. Add the plant, center it a little and backfill. Do not backfill till the brim and leave some space for water percolation. I'm again watering this plant with some seaweed solution. Keep the plant in a full sun position, and yes, gardening is messy, but remember that today's mess is tomorrow's mesmerism. And with this, we've come to the end of yet another episode of Urbanscape Gardening. And if you want more details on this plant, then please watch my old video. Additionally, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. The links are given below. And always remember, to grow slow is to grow well. Thank you for watching, and until we meet again, a very warm goodbye.